folks, welcome back to the Dice Tower. This is Sam.
It's JT.
And we are going to give you the bottom 5 from the year 2019. That is to say, the bottom half of our top 10 from the year 2019.
That's right.
So what did you think? What about this year?
This was another smoking year, just like last
Smoking,
year. It
huh?
was rigging hard.
It
was hard.
smoking.
Like I told you in the last video, but the way that I do it is when I just pull it up on BGG, when I see the first name, I just write it in number 1, and then my next name that I find, I either go above or below, and then I just fill it until and stuff just keeps, and it was absolutely brutal watching everything fall off the bottom.
I imagine. That's a little bit different the way I do it. I usually want to try to give myself 20 games to choose from. And so I'll just go through page by page by page, and I'll write down every game that I think has the opportunity.
And then you sort them.
And then I sort them into bottom and top. And then I'll go back to it after I've done that and rank the bottom and rank the top. We had a new breakthrough, page
like 16 or 17 probably.
Page 16.
Yeah, I
16. 16 pages of games set at 100 per page before we started seeing non-ranked games, and 26,348 was the last one. Was the last ranked games rank. So crazy. That was my little factoid.
Fair enough. 86 in the top 1,000.
86.
We were 78, 79 last week?
78,
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
So now we're at 86.
And we only need 72.
72 and a half.
Wow.
But the number is kind of skewy because that includes 2024.
It's not
2024
skewy.
is not going to have that many.
It's not. How do you know?
We're going to get there.
There's a lot of good games coming out this year, brother.
I'm going to say I like 7 of your games.
7?
But we only have 1 crossover.
Wow.
I'm going to say I like 7 of your games quite a lot, and we only have 1 crossover. That's my
7
guess.
of my games. How can you say, you don't know my games?
I'm just guessing.
Only 1 crossover?
Yep.
I'm going to go with 3. I'm going to be the optimist. I'm going to say there's going to be 3 crossovers.
Okay.
Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get at it. This is our bottom 5, numbers 10 through 6 of our top 10 games from 2019. You can go over to the Flipside after you get through watching this. That's our channel to watch the top 5, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's hit it. All right, here we go. My number 10 is a game made by a company that I used to work for, but I liked this game long before I worked for them. It's Mythic Games. And the game is Time of Legends, Joan of Arc.
Oh, nice.
Now, listen. I know that Joan of Arc has its conundrums about it. And you can fill in the blank with whatever you want to say is your pet conundrum about it. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about the game itself. I'm not talking about all of the hoopla around the game. The game itself is really, really, really fun. Especially if you like historically based combat. You don't like it.
I don't.
That's why it's not on his list. But scenario-driven, historically based combat about a time that I guess doesn't have a whole lot. It definitely doesn't have a whole lot of miniature games built around it. And that's one of the cool things I liked about it. I liked the size. I guess it's the scale. I liked the scale of the game. I'm never going to paint the game, that's for sure, because it's too small. The scale is too small. I hate painting small minis.
There's like 10,000 tiny minis, right?
Oh my goodness, so many small minis, and one gigantic one called the Dragon.
There's no dragon in Joan of Arc.
That's the cool thing about it. It's historically based. But it's Time of Legends.
All right.
Joan of Arc.
Well, Joan of Arc's a very cool story that we can all
absolutely
know
cool.
and stuff like that. But I don't remember a dragon.
Most of the scenarios are just basically French versus English, you know, that kind of stuff. And that's all well and good. But it's not just that. It takes... it goes into... Some of the scenarios are based on actual accounts of reports that commanders received from their fields. And so one of them is you have to go hunt down a werewolf that's been reported in a town. Because that was an actual thing that was reported back then. Just one of those cool things.
Bigfoot.
Where it's historically based, but it also takes into account all of the mythological type stuff that might be out there.
Nice.
Anyway, I really enjoyed the game, and that's all I'm really talking about is how much I enjoyed the game. That's why it's
fair.
my number 10.
That's the whole point.
Time of Legends, Joan of Arc.
All right. It's a great theme, that's for sure.
Yes.
All right. My number 10 is another great theme that we both kind of enjoy, and that is a Viking game called Reavers of Midgard from Grey Fox Games.
Whoa. Dang it, I forgot another one.
You forgot this one?
No.
Well, no crossovers now. Anyways, in Reavers of Midgard, you are Viking raiders. You have your own little ship. Along the bottom of that ship, you have the different actions that you take on the board, which you can upgrade using multi-use cards. I love the multi-use cards because when you take new crew cards, you get like different colored dice for them.
Yep.
And then you get to take that crew card and you get to decide, do I want the reinforcement dice that are on this side, the extra dice, or do I want to put it underneath to make one of my actions better, or do I want to turn it into my leader? And when you turn it into a leader, you get a little benefit immediately, and then that color now becomes your wild. So,
we got to play this game.
We got to play this game. But Reavers of Midgard is a great game. It is a little point salady. You're either attacking and taking over villages, you're attacking and taking over, it's not castles, but whatever. But you're collecting, there's multiple different kind of set collections, treasures, things like that. You're also affecting different areas that when you put in enough power, you get a token that gives you some kind of benefit.
Yep.
Also has that Champions of Midgard in the middle where you go across the seas to fight monsters.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool game.
Yeah.
It adds a nice bit of player interaction because whatever action I take, everybody at the table gets to take at a lesser value based on what they have built up in that action. So it's just a really cool game. It's very pretty. It's lots of dice.
This was the Euro. Wasn't this the Euro version? And Champions of Midgard was supposed to be like the hybrid.
Yep.
And then I think they were originally planning on coming out with a third, but I don't know that third is ever going to happen.
Okay.
I just haven't heard whether it's going to happen or not.
We're going to ask Roy Canada to go make the third for us.
Right?
There you go, buddy.
Yeah.
We're in.
That'll work.
We'll help. I'll help. For free.
All right. My number 9 is a tiny, tiny little game. I actually played this tiny, tiny game's successor today while I was waiting for lunch at church. This is called Silver and Gold. And this is a fun little flip and write game that is super easy to teach and super easy to grasp.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why it's on my top 10. We've had a ton of great experiences with this game with new people.
Sure.
Kind of, wading in and feeling like trying to get a feel for what the hobby's like at game events at our church and game events at Steamers West. There's been a lot of very positive things that have come from when this game is at the table. People enjoy it. It plays fast. It doesn't overstay its welcome. You basically just flip a card. It has a polyomino shape on it that you then have to mark off squares on your little island maps. And when you mark off a space that has a special thing on it, you get to mark it over here, and you get certain points for everything. And you'd really have to have I had to show you how to play it if I'm going to tell you how to play it. But it's super simple, super easy. I love the components of the cards. Each card is like a dry erase board with the film that's on it, and that's what you're using to mark them off is. So there isn't like you get this pad of paper and you get this pad of paper and you have to have pens and pencils and all that kind of stuff. It comes with dry erase markers. It's a really fun game, and it's great components. It comes in a box that could literally fit in your back pocket. It's that small and it's that thin. And it's just really fun. I first was introduced to this at a gathering of friends, and I actually came to the table and I was like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and play the stupid roll and flip and right and whatever. Because I was like, these are not my kinds of games. But after I played it, I was like, I got to get this game.
Yep.
It's super fun. So that's my number 9, Silver and Gold.
Not my kind of game either. I only have probably 3 or 4 roll and rights that I really like, and this is one of them. All right, my number 9 is on the heavier side.
Say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so. We got Silver and Gold over here. We got Maracaibo over here.
Way over there.
Way over here somewhere. In Maracaibo, you are a privateer or whatever you want to call it, a pirate, whatever. But you are traveling from Havana around the Caribbean. And in doing so, it's got a really cool mechanism where it's basically a one-track around. By the time somebody gets to the end, that's the end of the first year or whatever else. But on your turn, you get to move 1 to 7 spaces. Between 1 and 7 spaces. So you can speedball around this track fairly quickly, which sucks for everybody else because they're like, oh, I want to stop and do this, 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 and this. And you're at the end of the... As soon as somebody gets to that end spot, everybody else has basically like one turn.
Oh, really?
And then they're done. They don't get to go any farther on the map.
That's how Raids is.
They get to start back over. So
yeah, that's how Raids is.
There's a very good balance there. Not that you want to speed around the track all the time, but you really have to get to pick your options. But as you're moving around, you'll go to cities and do city actions. You can sell them goods. You can go to little villages and drop off like apprentices or people that like become shopkeepers and stuff for you later, so that when you come back to that spot later, they'll give you an extra little ability there or something else.
Sure.
The village spots are cool because I think they're called villages. Villages or towns, I can't remember off the top of my head. But depending on how far you go, if you go 7 spaces to a village, then you get to take that action 3 times. Whereas if you only go like 4 spaces to a village, you might get to take it 2, or if you go 1 or 2 spaces to it, you only get to take it 1. So
what about 6 spaces?
6, I think, is 2. I think you have to go 7 to get 3.
Wow.
But you're also jumping past a whole bunch of spots that you might need or whatever else.
Yep.
You can go there and basically attack or on the behalf of either a British Empire, the French Empire, or the Spanish Empire. And there are 3 tracks of influence, so that when you attack with them, you grow in influence with that.
Yeah.
With that faction.
That's cool.
And then there's one little bar at the bottom that's like an exploration track. That's the one part that Mel doesn't like so much as the exploration track, but it's just kind of a secondary track that you can go down when you need, and you'll just get specific resources kind of when you hit certain spots.
Yep.
Just kind of a fill-in track is what it is. But this is a really cool game. I really like the table presence. I really like the mechanics. It's really fun.
I don't think I've played this one.
But it's heavy.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it's
you
pretty
like
heavy.
it.
I love it.
Cool beans. Good pick. There are 3 games in this game's category. And this is not my favorite.
There's 4.
You don't even know what it is.
There's 4. No, go ahead. What is it?
There's 3.
Okay, there's only 3.
Maybe maybe there is 4. No, there isn't. Not yet. There's going to be, I think.
All right, what is
But
it?
anyway, this is called Horrified.
Oh.
And this is the OG Horrified. The Universal Monsters Horrified. And it was the longest time that this game had been made than that I was able to play it. That was horrible English. But what I meant to say was, it took me a long time to play this game after it came out.
Subtitles down below. No, I'm just
Yes,
kidding.
there you go. And I feel super cheated.
Did I teach you this game?
You did.
I think I might have.
You did, because we got it into the Dice Tower, and Tom and Z played it ad nauseum and loved it and talked so much about it. And I was like, I want to play. And they were like, no, we don't want to play it with you. No, that's not what they did.
That sounds like Z, I think.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, it took me so long to be able to play this game, and when I finally played it, I really enjoyed it. First of all, I love cooperative games, and I also love games that give you the ability to solve puzzles or solve puzzles is the best way to put it. And each of the different monsters in the game have a different puzzle that you have to solve. And that's why I think I like this game so much. The fact that each individual monster has their own puzzle to solve, and it's a cooperative game that you're all working towards the same thing. It's really just kind of like it's almost like a pick up and deliver,
almost
cooperative game, and I just really enjoyed it. The fact that it was the Universal Monsters was neither hit nor miss for me because I didn't really have a connection to any of them. But
that was a hit for me. I liked the Universal Monsters.
Yeah, you liked the Universal Monsters ones. Some of them felt very samey as far as the puzzles.
Sure.
And I think in the other expansions, that's where they kind of went in different directions for each of the different monsters, and that's what I really enjoyed. But we'll talk about those when they come up later on. Horrified Universal Monsters is my number 8. It's a very good game. There you have it.
Yeah, it's a very good game. Nice family weight game too that you can play with anybody.
Yep.
And everybody seems to enjoy it. So
absolutely.
I'm telling you, this was a year, a heck of a year. Yeah, they have to cut that out there. I'm sorry.
Language.
Sorry. My number 8 is a really cool underwater themed game called Aquatica.
Ah, yeah.
Aquatica is a really cool game. Not just the components and the artwork. Both of those are fantastic. The main player board, your player board, has these little slots in it. During the game, what you're doing is you're collecting locations by either taking them over by conquering them or by buying them. And then you're putting them into these slots. I think you have 5 slots on your board. And then they have multiple levels of stuff that they will give you. So it's really cool because you start balancing, like, I need to attack that one over there that has 5 on it, and I can get 2 from here, and 1 from the card I play, and 1 from here, and 1 from here, and everything's sliding and moving, and you're trying to slide these up and use all of the advantages or benefits on them.
Yep.
So then you can take them out of there and score them with a specific action. You're also collecting these characters, and the characters all have special abilities as well as, money values or attack values, power values. So you're kind of your deck building is at the same time. And the other interesting thing is the only things you actually score are the ones that you are able to set aside. So they can be completely closed up and have nice points on them, but if you can't get them from there to your stack, they're worthless. So it's just got this really cool balance of gameplay. Yeah. It's got great artwork. It's got great components. And it's got little manta rays that give you like one-time benefits per turn or whatever type of thing. So
yeah, those are cool. Those are cool. This is a really cool game.
Yeah.
I don't own it, first of all. That's one of the reasons why I didn't make my list. And that's not really a requirement, but I just don't have that very much experience with the game. You've played it. Well, I've played it once with you, I think.
Yeah.
And then before that, I've played it maybe twice. But it is a really fun game, and it's also a beautiful game as well. A lot of cool artwork on it.
Yep.
So
from Cosmodrome Games, and I had to write it on here. It is ridiculously low at 574 on BGG. Like this should be like in the top 200.
I don't know about that. All right, my number 7 is from Prospero Hall. Is the think tank that it came out of, and this is called Jaws.
Gotcha.
From the movie Jaws. It takes the movie Jaws and puts it directly into a box that you all can play. And it's got a lot of different things that's going on in it. It has each of the characters that you have. You have your own little special ability that only you can do. You're going to be taking your actions. One of those actions can be a special action that only you're able to do. But you're basically trying to get to where the shark is at a certain time in order to be able to knock it down. And there's so many cool things about it. You're literally playing through the movie. But here's the thing. It's family weight. It's not hard. It's not difficult. It takes very simple mechanisms. If you see anything that's been created by Prospero Hall, take a look at it. It deserves at least that.
Yep.
Because I can almost guarantee you, whether it's Goonies, Jaws, Back to the Future, there's a bevy of them. Go check them out. You won't be disappointed.
My number 7 is from Stan Kradonsky. I like that guy for some reason, or at least his games. I don't know the guy whatsoever, but
He
probably
deserves
good
to be
dude.
liked. He's a great guy too.
But anyways, this is a game called Lockup, a role player's tale. In Lockup, you play one
Thunderworks?
of Thunderworks. Yeah. In Lockup, you play one of multiple like bad races, if you want to call them that. You got goblins and kobolds and
You don't have to put air quotes
well,
around
who knows
bad.
if they're bad or not? Because I don't know any kobolds to.
No, you can't say that.
If you don't know any kobolds to like weigh it against, how do you know?
The
if they're bad or
Uruk-hai
not?
were not bad.
That's true.
They were bad.
Well, yeah, but they were building a pit. So okay,
Saruman wasn't bad.
He was
bad.
Just depends on your perspective. Anyways, you're one of these races, and you have chips that go from like 1 to 5 power-wise, and then you have a little scout, and you have a guy that fists. He has a fist on his card that he gets stronger and stronger throughout the game as your power goes up. But in this, you are not blind bidding, you're hidden bidding for different places throughout the prison. You are in a prison. You're all in prison for doing good things, I'm sure. And in the prison, you're collecting scrap and these different things so that you can make cool prison implements like, shanks and, all that kind of stuff, which is where all your points are at. Your points are pretty much in the implements and the items that you make.
They have to be sold in the prison gift shop.
That's right. You're also collecting these little thug guys
Souvenirs.
of different like set collection.
Yeah.
But it's a really cool game. I really love this game. We really love this game. I love that hidden bidding mechanism and just flipping over the tokens and just crying every time you get outbid. But
this is one that you taught me, and I had never heard of it before. That I remember. I may have played it once during my time at the Dice Tower because we got so many different games in. But this is a really fun game, and it does have a really cool theme to it.
This is a game I will play anytime, anywhere. Walk up to me and say, "Let's play Lockup." I'm in.
All right, there you go. My number 6 is the last one for me on this list. My number 6 is also a Stan Kordonski game.
Nice.
And this one is called Rurik, Dawn of Kiev. And Rurik, Dawn of Kiev has a very historical element to it. You are building up the city of Kiev. And I just have been, I would not say enamored with Stan Kordonski's designs because I've not played all of them. But of those that I have played, I've really enjoyed. And this was the
look up how many
first
games
one.
he's made because I've played a lot of them. I don't know
There's,
if I've played them all, but I played a lot of them.
I think Endless Winter,
Own it.
Nova Roma,
We have it here.
yes, Rurik, Dawn of Kiev,
Yep.
Resurgence, Role Player, Lockup, and those are the ones that just come off the top of my head.
Yep.
I actually saw a picture on Facebook with him with all of the games that he's made, and there were a lot.
I think I've played them all.
I don't know that you've played them all. There were a lot of them
Most.
there.
I played 90%
maybe
of them.
most, but I can say this: I really enjoy. Sometimes they're a little too heavy. Nova Roma is one of them. I like the game. I really enjoy the game, but it's just a bit out of my wheelhouse. But Rurik, Dawn of Kiev has a lot going on to it. It is an area control game. You do have your own little faction. You have your own little leader that has its own little special ability, and it's basically you're just trying to get most points by the end of the game. Really a fun game though, and I love the historical connection that it has to it, and it was my first introduction to Stan as a designer, and it's been a great ride ever since.
It's a really cool game. It's been a while since I played it.
Yeah, me too.
And forgive me if I'm wrong, but the cool thing about this game is you have to basically bid on your actions.
Yes.
And the higher you bid, the bigger your action. But I think the person that's at the bottom gets to start right and go first.
Yes.
So you have a really nice action, but you're last in the selection
That's
or whatever else. But
Yep.
it's really cool bidding all these on these several different 4 or 5 different actions.
Yes.
And you're bidding on all of them.
Yep.
And timing is key.
And and how you bid determines
Yep.
how much of that action you're
Yep.
able to do.
Yeah, really cool.
Very cool. Really enjoyed it. That's my number 6, Rurik, Dawn of Kiev.
Very nice. All right, my number 6, the last one here on the dice tower for us today, is a little game that weighs about 300 pounds from Chip Theory Games called Cloud Spire.
Yeah.
It doesn't weigh 300 pounds, but it's heavy weight-wise.
It probably feels like it does.
Yeah, that's a heavy box, especially when you stick all the expansions and stuff in there.
Boy.
But Cloud Spire is a MOBA inspired game where you have a base on your end of the map, somebody else has a base on their end of the map, whether it's another player or you can actually play 2-player. You can play cooperative or you can play solo, and each of those has a ton of different scenarios, which is really cool. Well, there's multiple different factions you can play, and basically at the beginning of your turn, you have to set up your chip stack of all the different creatures and monsters and stuff in your faction that are going to try to march their way over to attack the enemy's base, and they have to do the same. And then you just start playing out this as they march across. They interact with different things on the map. You can set up towers, like defense towers, that are shooting them down as they go. And just a really cool game, over-the-top production. And it just impressive in scope.
Impressive in scope is a great way to put it. I'm not drawn in by the whole chip thing. I think it's cool, but I just wasn't drawn into it. When I saw Cloud Spire first being proliferated with their ads and all of that kind of stuff, I was like, man, that's a beautiful looking game.
Yep.
And I was very much interested in it. The only thing that kept it back was the chips. It's the only thing that kept it back from me.
The chips are nice because they
They're super
have
nice.
all of the information there.
Yeah.
And you can keep, if you had a miniature, then you'd have to have side information and all that kind of stuff.
I know.
Those chips are really nice for that
I
fact.
get it.
I
totally get it.
understand completely. But when you look at a tower across the way, you can see how much health and defense and how much range it has, just based on the different colored chips that are underneath it.
Yeah, it's the same system that Hoplomachus used. Well, I mean, as far as stacking the chips was concerned. I don't know the nuances of the class.
Too
many bones,
same
thing.
kind of way for different reasons. But
so I get it. It's just that's the one thing that kind of turned me off from it. But yeah, I still want to play this game. I still haven't played it.
Yeah, and for Too Many Bones or Cloud Spire, or I haven't played Hoplomachus Victorum, and actually we talked about that a couple weeks ago. I think I need to get it just so I can try it, so I can play it. But
I agree. You should get it.
I think I'm sold that I need to get it. But the hardest part about getting into this game is your faction, because your faction has a lot of its own rules, a lot of its own abilities. It has its own characters, and you have to learn all of those kind of things to know what you're doing against the other person.
To do it well.
To do it well. You don't have to, you can just absolutely blow through it. And Mel and I, we like to play this thing cooperatively, and it's really quite fun to just puzzle it out, because it really is a puzzle. Because you're this faction, and the other person's this faction, and you're going up against these factions, and this is how they're going to send their stuff out. It's easy to set up, because it's easy for them to say, this is what they're sending out every round. Can you beat them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're just trying to puzzle out the best way. What's the best unit to go against that unit? That kind of stuff. Really cool game. Number 6. Sorry to prattle on about it. Cloud Spire.
Well done. All right. Well, that is our bottom 5 of our top 10 from the year 2019.
Yep,
219. Wow, that's a different set of games right there.
Crokinole and basketball and a
basketball
sideways hoop. Well, that's what the Mayans used, right?
That's true. They did have the hoop on the side.
Big chunk. Yep, there you go.
All righty. Well, that's it. You can head on over to the Flipside right now to catch our top 5. It is ready to go. So we will see you guys and gals over on the Flipside.